So we just ended up in world -1, it looks like. Hello. And the idea of this escort mission here, we try to reach the teleporter at the end of the level. If you're on the ceiling, then Vermilion or whoever's with you will not follow you. And if you're on the top of the screen, or if you're on the ground, then he will follow you. The dialogue actually changes depending on who you have with you, so that's kind of a cool thing too. If you have one of the male V characters with you, they'll actually talk about their girl problems. Never mind. But one thing that I want to point out is this music. This music's really catchy. And that's why I wrote lyrics to it. I'm a color crew captain, Viridian. Our teleporters cost us millions. They seem to be glitching out again. I was only meant to be a passing civilian. I've appeared in a queer frontier. I'm a pioneer. My whereabouts are unclear. Need to get my engineers in gear, but I fear while I'm here the way out might disappear. I must proceed to assist a friend in need. I won't concede defeat. Follow my lead. I need to guarantee our longevity. Stay where you are while I alter gravity. We must get through this with brevity. I don't want to be stuck in Space Odyssey. I will scan the complex for my cadets. What is next? I'm perplexed. More so than when I watch old Star Treks. Maybe this place operates in Linux. Or a man with a smiley face who doesn't wear clothes and has his own base. Getting misplaced in a journey through space shouldn't be such a hard case to embrace. In the background, nothing but zigzag zooming like zephyrs on a way. So ragtag, take a note, pack up all of your knickknacks in the event of future impacts. Let's not make more of those. We are clearly meant to be totally pros. We are doing nothing wrong, but I suppose that it wouldn't hurt to put on some clothes. Ooh, while I die on my feet to advance, I'm thankful that I have more than one chance. I am in a trance. This is not my flight plans. I'm only to work around this expanse and prepare to disembark. For hark in the distant pixel darkness, I see a teleport spark, but my captain's log is a question mark. Oh, that timed out so perfectly. I didn't expect that to work as well as it did. Usually I spend a lot longer on that level. But yeah, there's the escort mission. That might be one of my favorite stages in the game, actually. There are lots of great levels and lots of great things in general, but that might be one of my favorite parts. Oh, did I ever show this off? This is something I forgot to mention. This is kind of an Easter egg in the game. If you go over here... The ship is actually called DSS Soul Eye. And this might not seem significant if you don't know a whole lot about the game, but the creator of all the music in the game is Soul Eye Digital Music. So he's kind of in the game as an Easter egg, as in the title of the ship. That's just something I thought was kind of cool. Yeah. And another thing that I kind of want to mention, the soundtrack, Passion for Exploring probably is my favorite song in the soundtrack. It's just so good. But, I think if I was going to pick a real favorite song in the soundtrack, if I was also going to include version 2.0 of the game, then I would say a song called Piercing the Sky might be my favorite. Look that up on YouTube. He actually, Soul Eye Digital Music actually has it on his YouTube page with someone dancing to the music, which I think is kind of odd, but I'm not sure if it's him dancing to the music or someone else, but it's still kind of, yeah. He's a funny, strange person, from what I can tell. Piercing the Sky, though, epic song. Like, I don't want to usually use the word epic, but that's the best way I can think to describe it. Also, these terminals, I think these look like... Once again, I'm going into what I think all these things look like, but I think the antenna look like eyebrows, and the screen looks like a mouth. So it looks like an angry person is yelling at you. That's what the terminals look like to me. Let's see, how many crew members do we have rescued? We have 2 left. Alright. I'm looking at that because every time I play through this game, I kind of get lost, and I forget how far I've gotten through the game. But there will be a clear indicator of where the almost end point of the game is, so we'll get to that soon enough. You can also use the teleporters anytime you want to get to other places faster after you've activated a teleporter, which is also a very helpful mechanic. This game is just designed to be awesome. Another problem with mainstream games is that they're not always made to be like the most entertaining games that they can possibly be. They're just meant to be made for the widest audience possible. And by making games for the widest audience possible, you're making not something personal, but something for everyone else to play. And it's really all just kind of a money scheme in that case. Because you're like I don't know, World of Warcraft is sort of an example. I don't know a lot about World of Warcraft, so I probably shouldn't be saying anything, but so many people play that game because it appeals to, You know, people who just want to go around and fight monsters, and then there's lots of flashy effects that make it seem more interesting. That was odd. Seem more interesting, you know, like spray paint. You know, just spray paint. Just, yeah, that's just something I've thought about lately. Thought about quite a bit, actually. Because I mean, I make games, and I don't want to think that my games are just made for people to play mindlessly and pretend that they're enjoying, or not even pretend that they're enjoying. People think that they're enjoying games more than they are, a lot of the time. Like, how many games that you, like, if you think of just about any game that you could possibly think of right now, then chances are you might call it a fun game, but you might not have, like, a legitimately fun time playing the game. But, like, the first Super Mario Galaxy, maybe that's a good example. I really liked Super Mario Galaxy the first time I played it, and I thought it was a frickin' awesome game, like my favorite game of all time, because that's kind of what it was hyped up to be. And where am I going? There are very few challenges in Super Mario Galaxy, the first one, that I really, really enjoy. I would probably do a Let's Play of the game if I had the right equipment to do so, but it's still... yeah. It just feels like it was designed to have an atmosphere, and not much else. Which I guess you could say the same thing about Twilight Princess, but I like that game because the atmosphere is really the main focus of the game, and not so much, like, making sure that... I don't know, my rambling does not make sense. And I'm still very, very much lost. Okay, I think I want to go... I should just go down to Teleporter, yeah. There's a teleporter down here. Zigzag intestines, yes, let us go. This looks better. This looks like a better place to be. Yeah, this is the problem. Like, there's one area in the game that I could conceivably go into, but I don't want to go there yet. I want to go into, one of a couple of areas. Right? Yeah. Because I'm saving, like, there's a Space Station 1, which is the first level in the game, and there's a Space Station 2. And Space Station 2 is the last area that I want to go into in the game, because it's the hardest area in the game, supposedly. Actually, it has all the hardest trinkets to collect, so it's not exactly the hardest area in the game, it's just the hardest one for trinket collecting. Oh, death. Spikes that could not have possibly been seen. Also, Vermilion. Hello, Vermilion. What's up? Hey, you captain. This way looks a little dangerous. Let's go! Also, if we go down here, this is an area that we can't see yet. Well, I mean, we can see it, but we can't go here yet. This is the area that we unlock after getting all the trinkets, so we're gonna have fun with that later. Do. Also, you might notice the way that this is designed, there's no possible way to go back to the right without killing yourself. The reason for that is... hey, there's a teleporter at the end of this tunnel. So let's just go through this maze here and see where it leads. Yeah... I've had a kind of weird past couple of days. I actually stayed awake for like 32 straight hours because I kept thinking about trying to record this, and I kept trying to record this, and this is a hard game to commentate over, honestly. I was surprised. It's just because this is a very simple game, and there's not a whole lot of details that are special in it, like Link's Awakening, for example, where... like, I was surprised how many things in that game kept changing, just because of the way it was designed. But, yeah, we're going through the Lost Woods here. Not in the same way as The Legend of Zelda, but these are kind of Lost Woods. You know, if you look at the map, it's just like a big grid system on the top and bottom of the screen. But I know how to navigate through the map. Oh, wait, no, dead end. I know how to navigate through the map, so it's okay. We're not going to get horribly lost like I have been lost for the last, like, 5-10 minutes. I don't know what I was talking about just then, but yeah, here's the Warp Zone. Warp Zone! And this level is trippy. Oh, this level's... This I consider one of the hardest levels in the game, really. So I'm kind of glad that it's one of the last levels that I'm playing. Well, I say one of the last as if there's a whole lot of levels in the game, but there's really not. Lots of headless dummy mannequins. Hello. Yeah. It's just that this level's really disorienting because you keep looking on the other side of the screen, trying to determine like what obstacles you'll see on the other side of the screen, and because of that, because of what you see on the other side of the screen, you're not paying attention to what's on your side of the screen. So you run into something that you don't think you're going to run into because you don't pay enough attention. So you have to pay attention to just about everything at one time. Obey! I will not obey you. What is there to obey, though? It's kind of weird whenever you see posters that say obey and they don't say anything else. Like, especially if they don't have a picture of a person on it. You'd expect, like, there are all those Obama obey pictures that are like rip-offs of the other one that are just kind of to symbolize something. I don't know. But this room is one of the trippiest rooms to me. I have figured out how to go through it now, but that part is just the tops and bottoms of the screen, the little details, the little holes that you go through, it just doesn't feel like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like they're aligned properly, but I guess they are. The other day I was chased down the hallway by a giant cube with the word avoid on it. The security measures go too far. Okay. Well, later in the game we're going to see a whole bunch of obstacles that say things like lies and truth on them, so that's going to be weird too. And these look like ice cubes. Like green ice cubes. How would you make green ice cubes? What would you use? What kind of liquid would that be? Also, Miss Pac-Man. I remember playing a Miss Pac-Man game on, oh, whoops. I remember playing a Miss Pac-Man game on the 3D... No, not the 3DS. That's definitely not right. The Dreamcast. And the Dreamcast, I still have my Dreamcast. Or, it was my brother's Dreamcast before, and then I guess he gave... No, we have several Dreamcasts, actually. But most of them are not as functional as they should be, so there are only a few games I can play on them anymore. But the Dreamcast had this Miss Pac-Man game on it that I actually really liked. And I would never really be able to get through it because it got pretty hard pretty fast, because it was sort of like a puzzle game, but not. And, yeah, I don't know. But there was this one level in the game that was called the Crystal Caves, and I kept thinking as my young self, oh, they ripped off of Donkey Kong 64. And so I think I stopped playing on that level because I thought they were ripping off of Donkey Kong 64, and then I played that instead. Because I was stupid. Or actually, it might have just gotten too hard for me. That would be another possible explanation. The Dreamcast was a frickin' awesome system, though. Like, I'm surprised that it went under like it did. Well, maybe not so much, because it didn't have a whole lot of unique games, exactly. I think the reason that the Dreamcast wasn't extremely popular was because it had a lot of PlayStation 2 games on it, and so nobody wanted to play it if they could just get a PlayStation 2 instead. But, yeah. It was like the Wii before the Wii even happened, pretty much. Also, this screen says, it's not easy being green, and the reason that I'm pointing that out is because it makes me think of the Muppet movie, the more recent Muppet movie. And I saw that for the first time recently, the newer Muppet movie. I'd been avoiding it for a really long time because I thought that it wouldn't live up to the older Muppet movies. But it really, really does. It's probably the best of the Muppet movies. Because it's not only does it make a whole lot of references to the Muppet Show and the older Muppet movies and everything, and it's really well put together, but it's also, it like treats the Muppets as real people in a way, not just as entertainers, not like, it doesn't feel fake. So that's really cool. And it has the silliest humor. Oh, it's great. This is the Gravitron. Oh, goodness gracious, I do not like the Gravitron that much. It's just, whenever I see, like, this part is okay. I like this part pretty well, because everything is coming from one direction, and it feels like I can avoid just about everything. Maybe not that one block that just passed by that I hit, but... or that one. Thankfully, the timer at the top of the screen stops at 5-second intervals. You don't have to actually stay alive for 60 straight seconds. That would be practically impossible. Oh, goodness, I would hate that so much. I would not beat this game ever. I'm pretty sure I really never would play this game ever again. But, yeah, this is a weird thing, because you avoid all these blocks by jumping up and down and jumping up and down on these lines, on these parallel lines, and, I just don't really like how this is designed, because it doesn't seem like whenever things are coming from opposite directions, you can ever truly avoid them all the time. Like, whenever something is coming from two directions, then there's a chance that you'll like, right then, you'll find yourself in a position where you can't actually avoid anything else. So, there are arrows on the sides of the screen that kind of indicate what's coming, but they're such small details that I think you'd have to be a super ridiculously attentive, focused, crazy person with the ability to see, like, 87 billion different things happening at the same time, and focus on every single one of them to make this work. But there is someone on YouTube who actually essentially made a Let's Play of V, and did a no-death run of the entire game, including this part, which is insane to me. They didn't collect all the trinkets, because one of the trinkets is actually impossible to collect without dying, I think. But yeah, it's crazy to me. They beat the game without dying, and it was commentated, so essentially it was a Let's Play. And they did it with, I think, live commentary. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't actually watched it, but I kind of want to, because that is ridiculous. Like, how many times have I died already? 45 times? That's... Actually, I'm kind of surprised. 45 seems like a low number. But, I don't know, maybe this will be my best run of this game. Let's hope so.